Hello Marcos, Vesselor Noobs here with another anime discussions, this time doing one that was recommended. It took me a while to finish the series, but No Game, No Life. Really great show. So, if you haven't seen it already, like always, you better just click off this, check it out if you want to, because this will have tons of spoilers in it, so let's get started. So, my god, first I have to really thank you for introducing me to that show. That was a masterpiece. It's very rare that I see like such great shows. I've seen a lot of good ones, but it's like few and far between that I see these really great ones that I latch onto. Things like High School DxD, Heaven's Lost Property, Code Geass, and now No Game No Life. This is definitely one of my favorites now. Now, to start it off, all know the story. It starts off with Sora and Shiro, a brother and sister, who are major gamers. They defeat the god Tet in a chess match, and he brings them over to the gaming world. Now, I have to say, I was really interested with this. I mean, the first episode I guess you could say it was average. It was cool and all, but it didn't really attract me much. It was just like it was a decent startup, but that's more to say than like most. A lot of animes have pretty boring startups, even if they're a good show. But this one, it was a pretty good one, I must say, and it just got better and better with every episode that was made. Now, I have to say the first thing that really caught on to me with the show was the art style. The art style was really interesting and original. Like, it was so bright. All the colors were like really bright. It was kind of like neon-ish, and everything, like the way it was colored and the way it's designed, it made it hard to see the outlines of the figure. And in a way, that's sort of a good thing. Like on lower resolutions, if you're watching it like on low quality, it can be a bit hard to see the characters. But if you have a decent quality, it makes it look nice because it adds to the realism, because they blend in with the background. The colors kind of merge. The outlines aren't very clear, but the characters still are, which is an interesting concept because it makes it seem more realistic. Like, even though everyone has a built structure, as you can see, like no one has proper outlines. No one has like lines surrounding their body, and that's just something that stuck out with me. It looked a lot like that because you could never really see the outlines unless you were really focusing for it. And these characters, starting off, they struck me as characters that weren't meant to be liked. Like they were pretty cold at first, but you just couldn't help but love them as the series progressed. They were so funny, so cool. They weren't really super nice overall, but they had some humanity in them. They were still kind to other people, but normally they are a bit self-centered. Because the fact that he said to Tet that he would find it stupid if he got brought to this, they would find it stupid if they got brought to this world just to save humanity, well, humanity in that world. I don't know. That's just, yeah. Their morals are questionable, but what really stuck out was the message of this show. It brings out the fact that gaming is a very niche, I guess you could say, type of community. Like, there are some like people who enjoy games, but the hardcore gamers, the people who really love gaming, those kind of people aren't really understood by the like casual gamers and like people who aren't into gaming. You can't get it unless you're a part of it. And the message behind this that really struck with me was the fact is, something that I've learned in life is people can find beauty in anything. And I mean absolutely anything. No matter how small, insignificant, or stupid, sometimes even bad, that we might find some things, there are people who can find beauty and meaning within that. Someone out there is likely to find something out of it. Because that's just how people work. Everyone's different. Everyone enjoys different things. And these people, they were based around gaming. Not just video games, but all kinds of games. They loved games in general. Their lives revolved around it. They took life as a bad game. That's an interesting way of looking at life. I can't say I agree, but they took it as a bad game. They didn't like it because they like to set rules. They like to challenge themselves and add rules that they had to play out, manipulate, and follow. And I have to say, these are some of the smartest characters I have ever seen in anime ever. Like, seriously. People are always comparing, like, oh, who's the smartest character in anime? Oh, it's obviously L from Death Note, Light Yagami, Lelouch, V. Britannia. And those characters are genius, I will not deny, but these two, Sora and Shiro, are some of the smartest I've ever seen. I think they're smarter than those three characters, if you ask me. Some people may doubt that, saying they're just good at calculating, they're good at predicting people's movements, but they're only smart in games. Now, I would understand that type of view, unless you've seen the word jumble. Holy shit, they made the most simplest of games intense. In word jumble, when they made things, if they were there, appear, and if they weren't, disappear. If they weren't there, they would appear, and if the word they said was here, they would disappear. When they deconstructed the atmosphere, trying to make it so she couldn't respond, taking away her magic, it was genius, true genius. Now, this anime is very complicated. Like, their mindsets, the way they calculate things is so hard to follow. You're not likely to get it the first time around. I barely understood it, but as it went along, I started to understand their thought process a bit more. Like, even though I'm not a genius in science, I didn't understand exactly what they were doing. I noticed something when he was trying to take out the outer core, like he took out the mantle. I knew he was trying to make, like, the Earth. I thought he was trying to send them into space. I didn't realize he was trying to disable the atmosphere, which was pretty smart, I have to say. And the fact that they said chess is like a giant game of tic-tac-toe. If you can memorize all the positions all the pieces can go in, you pretty much can predict any move, and that's really genius. I mean, to be honest, I have a lot of stress in my mind. I have a lot of things I have to deal with, including school, not just YouTube, like dealing with my friends, like spending time with them, because they're people too. You need to take them into consideration. Spending time with the family, dealing with the stresses of family, never getting any alone time. It's very hard for me to focus. But say I had a few days without any of that, where I could just be alone, I probably could, after a couple days, commit the chessboard to memory. It would be very hard, though, and that takes a lot of intelligence, and the fact that they find it so easy, it comes to them so naturally, that is purebred genius. There's nothing else to say about that. Also, I find it so cool that, like, Shiro was the FPS guy. That was so fucking cool. Sorry, guys, but this shit's a mouthful, and I'm really thirsty, but anyway. Also, things that really stuck out to me in this anime, not only just the art design, but all the characters were very interesting. I liked how they came up with all these races, and at the moment, I am sad to say this seems to be another one of those 12-episode one-shot anime. Now, from what I know, this is still pretty new. I believe it came out in 2014, and it's not a super old anime. Right now, they haven't decided to cancel it, but they also haven't decided to continue it, so it's still up in the air whether they'll make another season. 12 episode seasons in an anime is something I've come to fear, to loathe. There's tons of great anime that are 12 episodes, but the problem with them is that they are never a sure thing. I've seen so many tragic anime become one-shots that are just like 12 episodes long, nothing more, nothing less, and they leave it at that. There are still anime that are 12 episodes long and continuous seasons, like The World God Only Knows, a fantastic one. Reminds me a lot of Sora and Shiro, the main protagonist, and High School DxD, which is 3 seasons strong and hopping on a 4th very soon. The problem is, that's fine, but the issue is when they make it 12 episodes, that normally leaves the idea that this is to be decided whether they will continue it, and more times than not, I have seen it left to die, and I hate that, especially since this is one of the better ones I've seen out of the one-shots. I've seen some fantastic one-shots, don't get me wrong. Mysterious Girlfriend Max, really enjoyed that one. Heaven's Lost probably did a 2nd season, but Campione, Demon King Diamo, very good shows that had awesome premises that could have continued, but they never did. It was just left to be a tragic one-shot stuck at 12 episodes. Now, I hope with all my heart this doesn't happen to this one, because this is probably the best out of the one-shots I've seen so far. Cat Playing the Cuties, I was devastated when that shit ended, but if this ends, I will be so sad. There's so much to this. It's a really cool concept. It's a very funny anime, and has a lot of intelligence in it, too. And another thing, that he's nowhere near done. They still have to challenge God. I don't even understand what exactly they summoned in the final episode, but it was awesome. It was really cool to see, and they've only defeated one other race other than the human race that they conquered. And the War Beast, though, man, seriously. Sora was on the right track with that shit. But another thing I had to say about this is, how do I explain this? Shit, give me a second. I just need to think over this. I was gonna say something. I forget things way too fast, guys. I'm sorry. Alright, I'm glad I remembered this. This was something really important that I wanted to mention, and I didn't want to end this without it, so I just paused it for a minute to think of it again. This is something that I found the show emphasized perfectly, especially if you listen to the opening and ending songs, which are fantastic, by the way. Really enjoyed that. They emphasized the relationship between Sora and Shiro. I found it really cool how they added the names and made blank. That was a really cool idea that they brought into the show. That's a nice little concept they had there, and from the very beginning, they made it obvious they were very, very close. They relied on each other a lot, but even when you saw how, like, they couldn't be near each other without being they couldn't be away from each other without being a fucking mess, it made it very apparent as it went along just how deep this connection was, how they found each other, how much they relied on each other. I also found the ending scene very artistic, for the simple fact that it showed Sora and Shiro, and it really describes how they got brought up, how they found each other. For Shiro, life was pretty blank. She did what she had to. She was a smart girl, but she found no interest in anything. No one could give her a real challenge. Now, in this white world she was living in, she saw a shadow passing by that caught her attention. And then it switches over to Sora's perspective, who is living in this dark world, and from what you hear about him, he's one of those guys that's in a way sort of like me, at least temporarily when I'm around people. He puts on a mask for the world, he does what he has to, he brings and bears it, but he finds the world boring. He doesn't like the people around that they don't interest him. He doesn't find them very intelligent. He's just humoring them and getting through his life. He's not even sure what his goals are. And then he finds this one white bright light in this world of darkness and he runs towards it. And that white bright, and the shadow was obviously Sora for Shiro, and the white light was Shiro for Sora. It was very interesting how they did that. Like, they were in two opposite worlds it was very just empty for Shiro, and for Sora, everything was just kind of dark. Now, I understand this feeling that Sora kind of had, like the fact that I'm just going through the motions till I graduate, just humoring like my parents, you just grin and bear it, do whatever the fuck they say, even though you know a lot of things they say are bullshit. Like, honestly, I am not someone who just, like, I'm not a teenager who just rebels just to rebel. I just fuck my parents. I really deeply try to see from their side of things, but honestly, some of the things they do are straight out outrageous and unnecessary. I don't like the way my parents do things sometimes, and that's sort of what he was doing. Shiro noticed that Sora was smiling just because everyone else in the room was. He was just getting by, and when they found each other, they found someone who they thought of as equal, someone who interested them, someone who made them feel complete. They really emphasized how these two weren't just very close, they were two halves of a whole, and I liked that. The connection between them was unbreakable. I loved it. Really great, and like I said, the intro song was also very, very good. It's definitely one of my favorites. I wasn't sure about it at first, mostly because it was a different kind of style for me. But it was still very good, very catchy, and interesting. I like the meaning behind it. I really love the meaning behind a lot of this show that I watched. First off, Unravel being a great representation of Tokyo Ghoul's story, and this one's similar, saying like we are mavericks and that they don't need any kind of release or relief. The fact that they're saying that they are basically going about the world their own way. They live and exist for games. They think of the world as a game. They enjoy games. It's what they base off their life off of. It's how they do things. And they're basically saying that they are like mavericks of this world, and they don't need relief because this is their existence. They are the best at what they do, and they will keep on going forever. I'm pretty sure this will end with them becoming gods, which is awesome. Really cool idea. And I like how it's gods in a way that earned it. Hell, it has the gods' consent to it as long as they can beat him. Whereas things like Death Note, it was someone with just like an ego problem, kind of going crazy, trying to become a god, trying to make himself god. These people are doing it because they enjoy a challenge, and I really appreciate that. That is a super cool concept. Overall, again, I hope this doesn't become a tragic one-shot because it has so much potential. Really good show, and it was a lot of fun to watch. I had a blast. So thank you again for recommending it, and I don't think I have much more to say on this. Tell me in the comments down below what you think of this anime, how you enjoyed it. Personally, I don't think I found too many faults with it. It's just one of those things where I don't think too critically about it. Honestly, I didn't find any problems with the plot. It normally explains itself pretty well, and any really issues would more be personal. It did what it was meant to. Everything it went for was pretty well done, so I genuinely enjoyed this series. And I'm still, like, I finished the series, but I'm still watching it now, like, watching, I have, like, a tab of it right now for the intro song. I keep playing it over and over and trying to learn the lyrics, because I really like learning Japanese songs, and this one was really good, so yeah. I also want to learn the outro to this one, because it was really good as well. Haven't seen a good intro and outro in a series for a long time. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. If you did, smash that like button for me. Subscribe to get part new right today. And I'll see you dudes next time. Recommend in the comments down below any series you want me to discuss next. So thank you guys again. I'll see you guys. Peace.